Hello everyone and welcome to my PC build review after using it for about 4 months. In this video, I'll be first covering the extent of system dustiness, followed by a system temperature and power consumption comparison between clean and dirty states, and finally, a boot time comparison between this system and my laptop. As you may have noticed, the chassis or case is covered with a lot of dust. How much dust? Let's find out. The front panel has the most collection of dust mainly because of the intake fan. Dust began to accumulate on the area directly in front of the fan and then around it. As you can see, the dust is quite thick. Removing the front panel. Whoops! I accidentally flipped the panel and knocked off the camera. Good thing I was able to catch it in time. And now I have to clean up. Interestingly, there's no dust on the inside of the panel. They seem to be well confined on the outer mesh. Moving on to the power supply intake filter, we also see dust accumulation. Checking out the power supply's fan, we see surprisingly little dust. Checking out the filter itself, there's a bit of dust on the outside, but it does not creep onto the inside. These filters are surprisingly good. The dust on the components must have been from the top vent or the side vent, though I'm not sure where the dust on the drives came from. One last thing to note is that the dust tends to accumulate on the inside of the fan blades. Okay, so moving on to the system temperature and power consumption comparison, I will be using Open Hardware Monitor to determine CPU and GPU temperatures, Firmark for stress testing, and this Omni power meter. I left the computer idle for 5 minutes and then took the readings for the idle scenario. And then I ran either CPU burner or burn-in test for 5 minutes and then took the readings for the load scenario. This is by no means scientific. I just did this to get rough estimates. Results show that on idle, CPU and GPU temperatures were 4 degrees Celsius lower after cleaning. For load scenarios, CPU temperature was 5 degrees Celsius lower after cleaning, whereas there was no change on the GPU temperature. Power consumption results had little change, so they can be regarded to be within the margin of error. Moving on to the boot time comparison, the desktop on the right has a Crucial M500 SSD, whereas the laptop on the left has a Seagate 5400 RPM HDD. This is by far no means a fair comparison. I just want to show you how awesome it is to have an SSD as a boot drive. Summarizing, the additional cost of an SSD is totally worth it for me. Changes with regards to temperature or power consumption are in this case insignificant whether the chassis is clean or not. So that was the system before with a lot of messy wirings. And this is the system after some cable management. And that's about it. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching!